Ladies and gentlemen.
J.J. Watt.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of The Lead. Your host, as always, Harley Dugan. You already saw the intro. You heard it. You saw it. You saw clips of it yesterday. It got around all of Houston Texans and Houston sports fans' social media. It was J.J. Watt talking about, maybe a potential reunion with the Houston Texans. Yes, we have had this conversation to ad nauseum last year. I also thought that this conversation would be over this year, but it feels like it could actually happen.
What?
And we're going to react to the clip. If anybody wants to watch the clip just by itself, I have a YouTube short of it already, 6,000 views. Make sure to check it out. While you're at it, go ahead and subscribe, man. Hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. We are less than 200 away from 8K. So let's get to the 8K and then let's get to 10K. How about that? We're trying to get to 10K before the season starts. That's the ultimate goal. So without further ado, let's get into this. We got J.J. Watt is who we are reacting to. And maybe he's coming back to the Houston Texans, because he says it's only one call away.
I'm only one call away.
How do you resist, JJ, with all of the names that you listed, and D'Amico? Obviously, you know D'Amico, having played with him. How do you, the competitor, you resist not being that far removed from playing? How do you resist the temptation?
I'm a very fortunate, lucky man. I got a beautiful wife. I got a beautiful son. I've had 12 great years in this league, and I'm very thankful to have walked away healthy and playing great. I told D'Amico last year, I said, don't call unless you absolutely need it, but if you ever do call, I'll be there. But he knows not to call unless he absolutely needs it. This is the last year I'll tell him that, because I'm not going to keep training the way I've been training, but he knows that if he ever truly does need it, I'll be there for him. But I don't anticipate that happening. They got a very good crew.
So you're saying if 4 defensive ends go down by week 12, there's a possibility that you're stepping up?
I very much don't want that to ever be the case. Yes, I hope that everybody stays extremely healthy and they dominate and they don't need any other bodies, and I just get to watch and enjoy it from the couch.
So there we go, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. You got J.J. Watt, who just says it, man. Says it straight up. Look, I'm only a call away.
I'll be there to save the day.
And, if D'Amico ever needs to make that phone call, I'll be right there for him, Hey, he mentioned to him last year, apparently, so that's some news. And he's mentioned it to him this year as well. And this would be the last year. J.J. Watt has been just training like a beast, okay? We all know J.J. Watt's a heavy train guy, but he's been training for a hopeful come back to the NFL. I thought it could have happened last year, but then it just didn't feel like it was going to happen during the regular season. Just because, again, it's going to take a few weeks for him to really get acclimated, and then he's exposed to soft tissue injuries. That's what happens. You can't just, take the glasses off and put Superman's cape back on.
Superman got nothing on me.
We've had this conversation many times before, and it's funny to get this conversation back again. But to me, the reason there's more substance to it is when you look at the Houston Texans defensive line group and you look at the DNs are just, there's so much talent across the defensive end position. But JJ can play inside as well, and you are in need of a defensive tackle. Now, I understand the rotation of guys that D'Amico brought in. They're all solid. They're really solid guys. Futukasi, Tim Settle. You got Heinisch still. You re-signed Khalil Davis.
It's all right.
I have no problem with any of those guys. I really don't. But again, I've mentioned this before, that those rotational guys at defensive tackle, none of them are going to be somebody you're going to game plan for as an offense. You're not worried about the defensive tackles for the Houston Texans. Now, yes, Danico Autry can also play defensive tackle, so he's a bit of a tweener as well. But J.J. Watt can be that tweener. And there's nothing wrong with more talent in the defensive line group, because we all know it's one in the trenches. And J.J. Watt, when you look at just what he did 2 years ago in Arizona, yes, it's 2 years ago now, guys. 12 and a half sacks, and he was healthy for 16 games. And it's one of his best stat lines he's had in quite some time, actually, just because of injuries. He stays healthy and he does his thing. I don't need him there, every single down. But hey, a guy that is a veteran, that is a been there, done that kind of guy. And it definitely feels like, Houston Texans are popping right now. And it just feels like JJ is, I won't say jealous, but really would have loved to have experienced this in Houston with the Texans. And I know you had, a surplus of guys and you had some talent and you had an opportunity. It just didn't happen. But it wasn't like this. This is different across all of Texans history. DeMeco Ryan, CJ Stroud, and everyone else you got here. It just feels like the Houston Texans can do no wrong. And hopefully the Houston Texans maybe make that call for JJ Watt. I would be super open to it. I have no problem bringing in actual talent. JJ Watt isn't just an old dude that is trying to cling on to the Houston Texans. He might be that, but he has talent still left. Like I said, 12.5 sacks just as of 2 years ago with the Cardinals. I have no problem with the Houston Texans ringing that phone and seeing if JJ Watt is ready for a regular season NFL bout. I would be stoked about it, as well as the city of Houston. As always, guys, go Astros, go Rockets, go Texans. You have a blessed day.